show up, talk, present some options, and hope the phone rings. That's the sales process at most home services business. And hope is not a closing strategy. The estimate you emailed at 4 p.m. is sitting in the inbox next to 2 others by 6, and the homeowner's confidence in you fades with every hour it sits there. There's a better way, and it ends the same way every time. I'm Chad Peterman, CEO of Peterman Brothers. Over the last 15 years, I've helped scale our home services business from $5 million to $115 million a year across HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. And I've watched thousands of in-home appointments in that time. I can usually tell you how a call ends from the first 5 minutes. In the next few minutes, I'll give you the exact order a sales process has to follow to close in the home, the one thing most techs are afraid to do that costs them more sales than price ever will, and the words to actually ask for the business without sounding like a salesperson. I ask owners all the time what their sales process looks like. I get one of 2 answers. The first one is, we just go out there and quote systems. No process, no structure, just show up and throw a number at them and, see what sticks. And the second usually is, oh yeah, we talk to them and then we'll email the estimates over later. I love competing against that shop because I'm closing that job in the home while they're still drafting the email. Here's why the email estimate loses. The moment of trust is in the room. It's built while you're standing in front of the customer, while the problem is real and present, and the solution is right there. The estimate that shows up 2 hours later lands in an inbox where 3 other things are competing for attention. The feeling from the visit has faded. The competitor who calls that evening has the same shot you had in person. You gave it away by leaving without asking. We see this all the time. The customer has 3 different companies out, and there's 3 different cars sitting out in front of the house only for us to take our turn. What we see is typically we can walk out of there with that job because we've built enough trust. Oftentimes, they don't even have a quote from the first or second person in. And there again, we want to make sure that we are there for the customer and they understand what their options are and can make an educated decision about what kind of investment they're going to make in their home. The lazy process isn't lazy because the people are lazy. It's lazy because nobody ever taught them that the process has a sequence, and that sequence ends with a question. Here's the sequence. Skip a step and you may lose the job. First is trust. Before any price comes out of your mouth, the homeowner has to believe you understand their problem and that you're the right person to solve it. That doesn't happen in the first 2 minutes. It happens because you slowed down. You asked real questions. You listened to the answers, and you treated the visit like a conversation instead of a transaction. Second, questions. Not to gather technical information, though it matters too, to find out what the homeowner actually cares about. Are they worried about cost, long-term reliability, getting it done before the weekend? The answer to those questions shapes how you present the solutions. If you don't ask, you're just simply guessing. Third, the solution, not a price, a solution tied directly back to what they told you they cared about. Based on what you described, here's the options that I built for you that make the most sense for your situation, and here's how I'd think about choosing between them. The framing puts you on the same side of the table as the customer, instead of across from them. Fourth is the ask. More on that in a minute. When I think about sales calls that haven't gone our way, it's usually because we're out of sequence. The customer took control of the process. They told us where to go, what to do, what they wanted to do. And all of those are great. However, as the professional, we need to ask more questions. Why do you feel that way? What in the home has you thinking that this may solve that problem? All of these get at what we're actually trying to solve for the customer. If you skip the trust and go straight to the questions, the customer feels maybe interrogated. If you skip the questions and go straight to the solution won't land because, well, it's not connected to anything that they told you. If you skip the solution and just drop a price, you've handed them a number with no context and no reason to say yes. The order is the process. Here is the one thing that most people in the home miss. It's the moment that separates a positive outcome from a negative outcome. The technician or comfort advisor has done everything right. They built real rapport. They asked the right questions. They presented a solution tied directly to what the customer said they care about. The homeowner is nodding, the temperature in the room is warm, and everything is pointing towards a yes. And then the technician or comfort advisor says this: well, I can put that together and send it on over to you to look at. Just like that, the moment is gone. I know this because this is what I used to do when selling equipment. I would email over every single estimate and hope that the phone would ring. I wasn't good at this last step. I wasn't confident enough, more than likely because I didn't follow the other steps of the process, to confidently ask for the business. Fear kills more sales than price ever will. Not fear of the homeowner exactly. Fear of the awkward moment. Fear of being told no. Fear of seeming pushy. So the technician retreats to the estimates email because, well, it feels safer. It's not safer. It's just a delayed no with a week of waiting attached to it. The homeowner is not going to feel pushed if you've done the work correctly. They're going to feel like someone who has enough information to make a decision and is being given the opportunity to make it. That's not pressure, that's respect. Here's the part everyone wants. What do I actually say? Here at Peterman Brothers, we work on this every single week. We're going through, how did you say that? How did you approach that conversation? Were you using things like, based on everything we've talked about today, does this feel like the right direction for you? Or are you ready to get this taken care of today? Whatever those things are, you need to practice them. You need to go over them time after time. Not because it's going to increase your close rate, but because that's what great customer service looks like. It's consistent. It's sketched out. It has a process. Here's what I'm looking for when we talk about asking for the work after we've presented options. It's direct without being aggressive. It assumes the customer is capable of making a decision, which they are, and it opens a real conversation instead of just waiting for a reaction. If the answer is yes, great. Schedule it and confirm the details before you leave the driveway. If the answer is something like, I need to think about it, that's not a no. That's a question underneath the surface that hasn't been asked yet. The right move is to not hand over the estimates and drive away. It's to ask, what part of it do you want to think through? I want to make sure you have everything you need to feel good about this decision. Most of the time, the real objection surfaces in the next 30 seconds. A real objection is something you can actually address. The one that should never happen is driving away without asking at all. They invited you in. You did the job. Ask for the business. Every sales process should end the same way, not with an estimate in an inbox in a week of silence. With a direct, confident question asked in the home by somebody who has ran the process and earned the right to ask the question. Trust first, question second, solution third, ask fourth, every single time. The customer who says yes on the visit is not a different customer than the one you would have emailed. They're the same person who was ready to decide if someone had just asked them to. Drop a comment and tell me where in the process you're losing the most jobs right now. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this.